Hello, beautiful boss babes. Are you ready to chase life with Kelly? Well, I'm your host, Kelly Chase, and I'm so excited you're here. We are going to talk about all things love, dating, relationships, money mindset. We're going to dive deep into self-love, worthiness. I am going to bring on some incredibly empowering guests. We're going to have fun, we're going to laugh, and perhaps we're even going to shed some tears together. I am here to empower you, inspire you, and motivate you to create the life you crave. I am so excited for today's episode. Let's dive in. Hi, babes. Welcome back to the Chase Life with Kelly show. I am your host, Kelly Chase, and holy bananas, y'all. We have reached 100 episodes, and this podcast would not even be a thing if it weren't for you amazing humans listening every single week on the other end. I'm so grateful for you. Like, y'all literally don't know how grateful I am. And when I say that, like when I express my gratitude to something, it really does just strike an emotional chord within me. Gratitude is like the best, most rewarding, most humbling emotion that we can feel. And yeah, I want to cry because this podcast wouldn't exist, if I didn't think that there was someone on the other end of this that needed to hear the messages that I share. Whether it's a solo episode or a guest that I have on, I intentionally select my guest. There's really, I don't think ever been a guest on my show that I've been like, sure, I'll accept them on because of X, Y, and Z. It literally has been extremely intentional, the guests that I want on this show, because I know that they have a purpose like every human does. But the value that I have seen them, display on social media or in the public eye, I'm like, I need them on my show. They are changing lives. They are impacting lives. They are creating so much curiosity in the world. And I think that that's the beautiful thing of the human journey, is that if we're not staying curious, we're not really learning, and we're not really growing, and we're not really expanding and evolving as we're meant to. And I believe that that's the whole thing about Chase Life with Kelly, is about being curious. It's about learning. It's about growing, and it's about expanding into this next level version of yourself. The one who creates healthy boundaries, who says no to others because she has to say yes more to herself, and not in a selfish way, in the most respectful self-care, self-love, I am worthy of loving myself kind of way. And that is just so empowering. And I want you all to know that you have the ability to do that too. You have the ability to say, this doesn't serve me, I'm letting it go. And this does serve me, and I'm going to keep leaning into more of this. This is more of what I desire. This is more of what I want. And that's the direction I want to keep going in. I have, to be honest, I did take a break. We'd probably be at like 150 or close to 200 episodes at this point, because I did launch this podcast January 11th, 2021 is when I launched this podcast. 1/11/21. I thought that, 1/11 or 11/11, like those angel numbers, those repeating numbers, is just something that has been a part of my spiritual path for, I don't know, probably 5-6 years now. And it's just really, really beautiful. So I had to do that. Right. So anyways, but I started to feel like really a lot of resistance around doing my podcast at the, in 2022, was it? I guess I took some time. Yeah, because it's 2023. I've been doing now my podcast for almost a year again, which has been phenomenal. But I will tell y'all, I mean, you guys know I'm super honest about everything. There are times that I feel some resistance around it. And, it's really funny because I'm not one to check my stats and my analytics. And, I happened to the other day and I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. So I understand that consistency and commitment to your craft and going all in on something is how we grow it. And maybe creating controversial topics or having these high prestigious elite guests on the podcast is going to help grow things too. And although I have had very, A-list celebrity type of people on my podcast, which I'm extremely, again, grateful for, I also have other incredible epic humans, like I said, that have been sharing their truth, their light, their love with others. And that has resonated on such a different level that I'm like, yes, I need them. I don't care if you have 400 followers, it's like, wow, they are creating so much freaking impact. And it's just such a beautiful thing. And they have such a powerful word. Some of those people are local to Atlanta. And some of those people have been all over the world. I mean, to have an international guest on my podcast is just so rewarding for me too. I'm like, oh my God, I love connecting with like-minded humans from all over the world. And I think that that's the power of the virtual entrepreneurial world, whether it be coaching or influencer or whatever it is, so having an online shop, something like that. You get to connect with people from all over the world, depending on your demographic, right? Like, it's really cool. But anyways, the show would not be anything if it wasn't for you guys. And I do want to continue to grow this podcast. Again, like I said, yeah, there are days when I'm feeling like, oh gosh, I don't want to record anything today. But then I get here and I'm behind the mic and I'm like, yes, this is what I need to be doing. And I step into that future version of myself because I know that the current version of myself, the one who procrastinates sometimes or sits in fear or imposter syndrome or like, should I just throw in the towel? That episode before this one didn't really do that well. There weren't that many listeners, but even if there's 50 people listening, I'm changing one of your lives. And I think that that's the beauty of having a podcast, having a show, showing up and serving other people. People in the, my coaches, former coaches of mine, so in the coaching space, they were like, focus on the people that you have, curate this community and really commit to that. Whether, again, you have 5 followers or you have 5 million followers, it doesn't matter. Like, the following really doesn't matter in certain situations. So with the entrepreneurial space, you could literally, like, okay, let's say you had 5 followers and all 5 of them were like dialed in and you charged $4,000 for each of them. You just made $20,000 in 1 month. Think about that. Okay. I'm just saying. So regardless, I just am very, very grateful and I'm very humbled. And, I don't script my podcast guests that come on. Maybe there's sometimes that I'll like write down a couple of like thoughts or questions or like kind of like 2 or 3 questions that I want to ask them to just kind of like jumpstart things, or just so I remind myself, hey, I really want to ask them about this. Sure. But I don't have a script. And, I love the fact that I have a virtual assistant team that edits my podcast and produces my episodes, as well as creates all the marketing material. I'm so grateful for you guys as well. Geez, thank you so much for dealing with me, especially on last minute podcast episodes that I throw up on Sunday nights that they have to like edit and get out there on Monday mornings like this one. Anyways, but I had to, I practice what I preach, or I am becoming more diligent and committed to practicing what I preach, because that's what creates self-trust. Being committed to yourself creates self-trust. And I understand that I have, quote unquote, fallen off the wagon with my exercise practice. So my daily movement, I've been, not sabotaging myself per se, but I've been not prioritizing me. And that is something that I'm highly against. I am 100% someone who leans into boundaries and encourages and empowers and inspires other people. Like, choose you, like, you go first with everything that you do. So if I'm falling short, who am I I'm not leading by example. I'm not creating a good example for anyone when I'm doing that. And I'm feeling really tired and really exhausted and really burnt out. And that honestly was how things have been the last like month and a half. And that's just not the energy I want to thrive in anymore. So I've been very diligent just over the last couple of weeks of really putting effort into me again in so many different ways. In my health, you guys know that I'm on this gut healing journey. So I am being a little bit more intentional about that, as well as doing some relationship, like inner child work, inner child healing, in order to improve the anxious and or avoidant attachment styles that keep popping up for me. And I'm sharing that with you guys because I'm not completely healed, and I know that. And I believe that none of us are, and none of us are ever, like, we're never going to be like fully healed, but it's a beautiful practice to be intentional with yourself. And when you give yourself the space to tune in to yourself and be like, okay, let me bring awareness to this area of my life because I feel really stuck. I feel like there's a lot of resistance, there's frustration, there's disappointment, guilt, shame, anger, sadness, whatever the emotion is that's tied behind it, that where you just feel stuck. You gotta lean into that. You can't keep avoiding and doing and doing and doing. And I think that's what kind of happened. And I realized, and I was having this conversation with a friend, I was like, oh my God, my defense mechanism is to go into that do, go. Like, it's an unconscious, subconscious programming that I automatically, when I'm like avoiding something, I go straight into that. And then I get overwhelmed and I'm burnt out and I'm like, oh my God, like, how did I get here so quickly? But it's obviously been building up over time because I, like, every day over the last like month and a half, like I said, I've just been like, oh, well, I'll work out later, or I'll eat better tomorrow, or I'll do blah, 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 right? We all do that. We're all like, well, I'll do it when, I'll do it if, I'll do it then, I'll do it, blah. And you keep putting it off. And then you have this to-do list a mile freaking long of all the things that you have to do. And exercise and self-care and self-love should be at the top of that priority list. It shouldn't even be on your to-do list. It should be a daily habit that you have created for yourself. And granted, yes, I have created those habits. And I also recognize that I've lost a little trust in myself. And when we do that, we start to get really graspy and anxious towards other people. And in my romantic life, I will say that I feel like I've been doing that a little bit, and it's created a lot of anxiety inside of me, and I don't like it. I also understand and recognize that I have not been truly, fully speaking my truth. And whether that's in my career or my business, maybe online more or less, but also with people, friends of mine, family, relationship, like romantic partners that I would like to be romantic partners, maybe. I need to just say it, like, say the things that are on my heart, because me suppressing the thoughts, they keep coming back up because I know deep down in my heart that I need to express myself and not suppress myself. And for that, I share all these things. Maybe my podcast feels like a journal, like a live video journal for me sometimes. And I just, for me to like say these things out loud, it's recorded. I can go back and listen to it and be like, damn, Kelly, like, you had that. Yeah, you're working on that stuff right now. But I know that there's someone else on the other side listening or watching on YouTube, and you're like, oh my God, yeah, that's me right now. And so again, it's just the power of what I do. And it's neat. But yeah, I've had awareness around that. So I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it and tell you that I'm perfect or anything like that, because I'm not, and there's no such thing as perfect. But the cool thing is, as I'm growing awareness around these things that I feel stuck, or that are keeping me stuck, or where I feel stuck, or where I feel like I'm suppressing things, I am doing the things self-care wise, whether it's therapy or journaling to have the awareness, meditating to have the awareness, or even going to yoga. I just did 2 yoga classes back to back this weekend. And it was really neat because Letty at Bring It Home Yoga, that's where I went this weekend. She, passed around get this, of course it was a heart opening. Both of the classes were heart opening or chest opening classes. And of course I'm like, okay, I need to open my heart more, open up to receive, because that anxiousness is like, and maybe there's some avoidance in there too. But, anyway, she walked around at the end of class while we were in Shavasana, laid the like lavender infused washcloths near our head. And we place it on our forehead probably. But she reminded us that, if you place it on your forehead, it's to like open up your like third eye or crown chakra. And then you place it on your neck and it could open up your throat chakra, which is where we communicate. We speak our truth, right? And then she said, or you can put it on your heart or on your lower belly to open up your like sacral and root chakras and things. And I was like, oh my God, like, although I need all the things, I put it on my throat. And another thing, my gut healing journey. Okay. So my adrenals and my thyroid are kind of wanky too. The thyroid is in like, it's the neck. So even my doctor has been saying, you know, like cold therapies or cold showers, or even just having a cold compress on your throat for 15 minutes, like 4 times a day, something like that, is really helpful for helping the thyroid. And I was like, okay. So it's like all connected, right? Like I'm not speaking my truth totally, fully, completely because of fear, of course. It's always fear. And I have like interesting thyroid issues going on. So how many of you are also not speaking your truth and not fully expressing yourself and not fully communicating and not fully stepping into your power out there? Do you got thyroid issues? Do you have adrenal fatigue? Do you have adrenal gland stressors happening? Might want to get it checked and see if there's correlation, right? Okay, so anyways, I just wanted to share all that because that's where I am just at with life. But it is my birthday month. My birthday is in 13 days. July 23rd is my birthday. It's on a Sunday. And I'm really excited about that. I have started doing like monthly celebrations. So, and not everyone knows that because, you know, self-love. So what I've been doing though is practicing playfulness, because that is one thing that my therapist and I discussed as well, was that I have been doing, going so much that I have not been in my play. I have not been really tuning into the inner child to be like, one, what does she need? What does she need? How do I need to take care of her? What emotions can I support her around right now? But also, hey, little Kelly, what do you want to do today? What would you really like to do for fun? It's not all work. It's not all chores, right? We got to let that inner child play. So I made the intention for the whole month of July, particularly because it is my birthday month and because of the therapy session that I had and because of the awareness that I was very burnt out, that I was going to be very intentional and implement playtime in every single day. So things that I've done so far, I went hiking. Well, I took a solo trip the 4th of July weekend, July 1st, June 30th, July 1st, and went to Yona Mountain, which is near Helen, Georgia. And I did a total like little staycation up at this new Airbnb dome, which I'm going to post on my Instagram. So please go check that out because it is so freaking rad. Like even like, doesn't matter if you're local or if you want to fly in and like go to this place. It is like luxury glamping and so nice, like so nice, literally so nice. It's very secluded. Like you're literally the only people on this little mountain cliff. And so much privacy. And again, I went by myself just because I needed that. You know, I honestly wanted probably someone to go with me. But that was unavailable for me. So I decided, Kelly, you know what? You're just going to go on a trip by yourself. And yes, I slept in a very dark, secluded place where bears or anybody could have came and got me. But, you know, I took the chance and I had faith and trust in God. And it was a beautiful experience. So anyways, I had this beautiful solo trip and I woke up on my, you know, when the sun kind of came out, pretty much because it was kind of light in there. But I went to Anarubi Falls and I went on the little half to a mile hike to go to the waterfalls. And then I went into the creek and I just like sat on a rock and like sat in the water in the creek right there by Anarubi Falls and let the waterfall water just run through my body. And I just splashed and I played and it was just so connecting and so great. And I was like, oh, my little child is like, this is the best. And the cool thing is that there literally was like an 11-year-old girl sitting right upstream from me in her little tube, just sitting next to a rock tube. And I was like, yep, we know what we're doing. Our inner child was our children. We were playing, right? So it was just neat. I have colored, particularly, and you guys, like I was about to start my period too. So I was like hyper emotional about a lot of things. And I was like, okay, I want to feel more happy emotions, right? Or more at peace with things, particularly when I'm feeling really anxious about certain situations and things going on. So I sat down and my friend Annalise Puccini, she's she has been on the podcast before, but she was on Bachelor in Paradise. She wrote a book called Unwritten, and it is like a poem book because she's such an amazing artist. And anyways, but it's a coloring book too, or a paint book as well. And you can like write in there and things like that. So I pulled out one page and I just took the coloring pencils that she had sent me along with the book, and I colored a page. And then I went to the next page, and it was things that I kind of made my own little poem, I guess. But I felt so at peace, and I felt so content, and I felt just really connected and calm in present. And I believe that that's the beautiful thing about creating play in your life, is creating presence, being present. There's no present in the future. It's, what is that saying? It's like, there's no gift like the present. It's true. Like when you are in the present moment, everything else fades away, and it is just so radical. And you are at your highest vibrational frequency when you are being very, very present. So the things that you desire, they start to kind of come faster. I know, law of attraction. If you ain't on board with it, get on board with it, because it really does work. I swear to God, manifestation is a thing, and everybody needs to know about it. But it's about understanding and learning subconscious and conscious behaviors and beliefs, and getting yourself in a flow of magnetism. And how you get in a flow of magnetism, it's being very present, it's being very grateful, and it's creating positive affirmations for yourself and taking positive inspired actions towards the things that you really want in your life, who you want to become, what you want to do, what you want to have. You got to do that. So anyways, but yeah, so I've done coloring. I watched Sex and the City. I, went for like walks. I've played with like poses in yoga. Yeah, it's just been really fun. And I also am doing like a daily like good deed for someone too. So I like sent money through Venmo. I brought some clients like some treats. I don't know, just been doing some very interesting things, I guess. And they don't have to be like very big. I sent some friends some cards, you know, because everyone loves snail mail. We do. Who doesn't love snail mail? I had to take a sip. Okay. But anyways, 100th episode. I do want to say this too. Okay. Before I get into the next thing. Speaking of presence, and I think what kind of kickstarted this whole tuning into me. And again, yes, my therapist said you need to tune in, you need to do some more inner child work. So it just was confirming all of this, but there's been a lot of reflection happening in the last 3 weeks. And I went to, and I think what kickstarted it was that I went to this volunteer for a place called Hillside, which is a kind of like retreat center. Let's say that. Let's use that language. Retreat center for youths with mental health challenges. And they help them, you know, through creativity and therapies and different modalities, help them to maybe get back into school or be able to be more so around their family and friends and create more of a social life. These youths, you know, are subject to possible suicide, and that just breaks my heart. It's gosh, yeah, it just broke my heart. I have volunteered in the past, not with this, but with the homeless, and that also is so touching. It's interesting because I wasn't raised in volunteer work, in service work. I want to say maybe like in one of the clubs, like as a daisy, you know, like Girl Scouts or something. Maybe we went to a nursing home one time, and that was a very scary experience, actually. I think I was too young to be around it because there was a lot of people that were very sick and had a lot of challenges, and it was scary. I didn't know because I had not been exposed to that before. So it was very scary and very alarming. So that was why I never thought even to be like, oh, let's go do this, let's go do that. I just never thought about it. And my family, like I said, they just weren't like that. But that's okay. But anyway, so it was just probably like 8 years ago that I went to volunteer for my first like soup kitchen. And I did that a handful of times actually. And it was so humbling and very rewarding, while also very interesting to see how some people are just very not grateful. But so many of them were, and it was so amazing to know that you were helping someone that day. But anyway, so I went to this Hillside, and it's just, I just, knowing how the mind works and the subconscious and these limiting beliefs, like these children, adolescents, are just, whether it's their parents or caregivers, hereditary, passed down through genetics, whether it's like the anxiety, depression, whatever it is. And, or like I said, like a poor, like a unstable family situation, narcissistic behavior, or verbal, emotional, physical abuse in the home, or maybe in a school setting or something like that. Like, and I swear, I hope to God none of these kids have access to social media, because I swear that if you are a parent, please do not give your child access to social media until they are capable of handling it. And I say that to say capable, meaning they are so emotionally intelligent, they are so aware of their thoughts, behaviors, and actions that things like that can't consume them. Because I watched a documentary like a year and a half ago about this, teens are literally so challenged with mental health issues and have suicidal thoughts because they don't look like this girl, or they don't look like that guy, or it's just so terrible. And granted, I'm exposed to it all the time. I am online all of the time. And I know that that's a part of where my anxiety is coming from, because I see it. And although I'm not consciously being like, oh, I want to look like her, or, oh, I wish I had that life, subconsciously, unconsciously, it's like, oh, she looks really pretty. Don't you want to like do a little nip tuck so you look like that too? Or, shouldn't you be married? Shouldn't you have a boyfriend by now? God, their life looks so grand and you're single as a Pringle still. Like, unconsciously, that's what the fucking ego does. It's a bitch, and I hate it. But it's our greatest teacher. And when you start doing this work, you will understand that the ego is what we have to try to bring awareness to, all the thoughts that are going on with the ego. The ego is trying to keep us safe. And in safety means comfort. And in comfort, it does not mean growth. It means we stay the same, which that comfort and sameness could mean contentment, could be at peace with life, could be totally fine, but there's no growth. Or it could mean abusive, toxic, negative, cyclical behavioral patterns that are coming up, that you keep looping in your life, that you keep staying in. That's your ego keeping you safe too. This is comfortable. Oh, you've been in narcissistic relationships before. Oh, you've been in marriages where it's very toxic and there's verbal abuse and emotional abuse and maybe even physical abuse. Oh, well, but it's safe. They'll change. They'll turn around. No, they won't. Unless they are doing their work, it ain't going to change. Get the fuck out of that relationship, ladies. Get the F out. I'm sorry, I'm using vulgar language right now. I'm just on one. Anyways, that is your ego, and it's trying to keep you safe. So it does not have to mean that is a good thing. Safety does not always mean safe, or does not always mean good. Okay. Now, what we do want in a relationship is to feel emotionally safe. We want to feel safe within our bodies. Like when our bodies, like our gut clenches up, that is not safety. That could be a fear popping up from a past relationship. So you got to be able to have the discernment to understand what that is. Or it is actually something that is happening in your current reality, and you need to address it and either work on it or get out. Because we want to cultivate the secure attachment style. We want to cultivate the safety within ourselves. Anyways, back to the Hillside stuff. The mental health, it was a powerful volunteer experience because we were playing dodgeball. We played with the boys and then we played with the girls. And it was just so powerful there was a moment we were playing dodgeball and I got hit with the ball. I had to sit down, and I just remember this wave of awareness came over me, and it was the most beautiful moment. Such a beautiful moment for me. And I could cry about it because the presence that I felt in that moment, like I didn't think of my phone for an hour. Like like we put our phones away. My phone was in the back of a trunk. I didn't even think about it. Like literally, I didn't think about Instagram, social media, my phone, who was texting me, who was calling me, nothing like that. I was so freaking present, and I was having so much fun playing with these youths. And it was the most beautiful thing, witnessing them have fun, because their life and in their mind, it's not fun a lot of times, because that's what mental health does. It controls the mind. So to be a part of that was just really amazing for me. And what was really even more beautiful was the presence of it brought me so much gratitude that I went home and I reflected, and I was like, oh my God, like there's so many things that I'm doing right now that I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to do them. Like I'm wanting, a relationship. I'm wanting a partner. Not to say like I want to get married tomorrow or anything like that. And I don't want to necessarily start a family tomorrow either. But I want a companion. I want someone that wants to like hang out with me like every day and just go do things. Like someone to just go do things with. Hey babe, I'm going to the pool. You want to come? Hey babe, I'm going to the grocery store. You want to join me? Hey babe, like you want to just go for a walk? Hey babe, you want to go to dinner? You want to just go grab a drink tonight? Yes. Hey babe, can I come over and just like hang out on your couch with you and just like watch you work if you want? I just want to be around you. Oh my God. Like I just want that, but I like caught up in so much doing and all these other like career objectives that I'm like, I was abandoning what I want most. Ugh. So I realized like, wow, my superpower is being in front of people in person. And so much of my work, except for my 9 to 5, so much of my work is virtual, which I love that aspect of things. And I have high value in it. And I probably in 6 months will be reassessing and reevaluating some of the things that I'm doing as far as coaching as an entrepreneur, where I want to take my business, what I want to do, how I want to be more in person with people, because again, that is my power. And I think that is why I'm enjoying my 9 to 5 so much, because I'm in person every single day, meeting new people, seeing new faces every day. And I think that's just, it's really awesome for me. Granted, does it give me location freedom? No. And that is something that I do desire. So, but for now, it's great. And again, I like meeting new people. So that's serving its purpose in that regard. But I've just done a lot of reflecting, and I just hope that me sharing that story can help you really ask yourself, what am I truly wanting? And where am I like prioritizing the wrong thing? Where am I taking the not so aligned actions? Granted, everything I'm doing is taking me from here to there, but is it getting me to where I want to be faster? Maybe not. So it's just about reevaluating. And so anyways, that was just a very humbling and grateful moment for me. And again, it just brought me so much peace and presence, and it was just so great. And I can't wait to go volunteer there again, because it was amazing. But anyways, okay. So 100th episode. Thank you so much for being here and attending. I asked a question on Instagram, and I'm going to go through a couple of these questions. So someone asked, how do I stay consistent and motivated? As I just said, granted, obviously I haven't been that consistent and or motivated because I have not put myself first. However, I think I fall off the wagon when I use the term, I'm feeling unmotivated, or I've fallen off the wagon, because I have created such healthy habits in the past. I know how to get back on it. And I think that's it. You have to build those healthy habits. You have to stay consistent for a very long period of time, or at least probably 3 months, at least 90 days, maybe even 6 months, to really start to reprogram the subconscious mind and create these new habits, because you are aware of how it makes you feel. It's about the energy and it's about the vibration. Also connecting to your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to do this? Like I create multiple streams of income because I like to live a luxurious life. And one day I want to have a family where we are able to live an even more luxurious life that I've created for myself now and that my parents created for me. I have no guilt around wanting more. No guilt. I think we could all have a very abundant and growth mindset. Again, chase life with Kelly. That's what it is. We're on this growth trajectory. And it's not about wanting and wanting and wanting and never being satisfied. That's not it. It is, again, coming back to the present moment. You're so present and you're so grateful for what you have, but you can desire more. And there's no guilt and there's no shame and there's no resistance around. There's no block. Granted, that's a journey too, because I'm sure once I hit a certain number, of income per month, I'll be like, whoa, that sounds like too much, right? Like I'm sure that will come up, but that's why I continuously do my healing work. That is why I continuously, do my healing work. And I'm constantly bringing attention to these limiting beliefs that are keeping me stuck and not allowing me to move forward. So that's how I stay consistent and motivated. I just it's about creating trust within yourself. Think about a relationship, okay? Like an actual intimate partner relationship. If that person isn't showing up for you, if your romantic person is not showing up for you, you have a distrust with them. You're like, I can't trust them because they never show up. Or they're not showing up the way that I deserve. They're not showing up the way that I would like them to. So you have really wanky, janky trust with them. So think about that with yourself. If your behaviors are inconsistent, you're creating a distrust within yourself. Your little inner child is like, okay, she says this, but she does this. They do this, but they do this. Or they say this and they do this, or they say they're going to do this, but then they go do this. So it is all about honoring your little girl inside of you, or little man, or they, however you identify, and really honoring them. Build the trust within, and I swear you will start to trust throughout as well. So you have to build consistency inside by doing, if it means that you have to put exercise on your schedule or eat healthy on your Google Calendar, put it on there. I put all things on my I put so many things on my calendar, guys. So be consistent with it. Be consistent. That is it. How do you stay consistent? You create consistent behaviors. How do you get behind creating consistent behaviors? You start to bring awareness to why you are in the inconsistency. Why are you playing small? Why are you keeping yourself stuck? What is holding you back from diving into the life you actually want? The body you want, the healthy lifestyle that you want, the romantic relationship, the money, the finances that you really want, the career that you really want. What is actually keeping you stuck from getting there? You got to bring awareness to these thoughts first so that you can start to retrain the brain and rewire it with new positive affirmations. And then because that feels so good, these new thoughts feel so good, you start taking inspired actions, these actions that you haven't been taking before. That's how it works. And then you start creating new results and you're like, whoa, okay, wait a second. I did X, Y, and Z. That's something I've never done before. Well, maybe that's what I should do in all situations. Do the opposite. It really wasn't that scary. My ego did pop up a couple times and it was trying to keep me safe. But then ultimately it was like, this actually feels pretty good. I think I can get with this. I'm down. All right, let's roll. Let's ride. And that fear just rides with you. It dances with you. Okay, so another question was how to make difficult decisions and defend them when others don't understand. Again, this goes back to self-trust and self-love and knowing your worth. I'm sure if I told the world a particular story about a decision that I have had to make, I don't know if everyone would agree. I've had to put a very big boundary up around someone I love. And again, I don't know if everyone would agree with that decision. Because we all have stories. We all have these belief patterns, and that's okay. But I have to be okay with it. I'm the only one that has to be okay with my decision to putting these boundaries up. So when it's difficult, you just have to cultivate that love and that trust within yourself. So maybe maybe it's assess every area of your life whether it's your health, your physical, nutritional health, financial, career, relationship, creativity, your home environment, things like that, and assess where is something that's lacking some consistency, where is something that's lacking some commitment, and start pouring the love and TLC into those areas, because that's going to create new behaviors, like I just said, and it's going to start creating that trust within. Tune into the little girl or little boy inside of you and ask yourself, where do you need some love today? Where can I show up for you in the way that you deserve, in the way that you really need me to? And I know that this decision is really difficult, and it's not going to please other people, but it's going to please me. And it's something I have to do because I have to be at peace with myself. And I have to cultivate peace within my life, and I have to create joy within my life. And if I keep hanging on to other people's thoughts and opinions and judgments and stories and belief patterns, then that's not helping me. That's their thing to work on. That is their thing to work on. And respectfully, you can say, I know that you may not understand this, but this is what I have to do. And if anybody remembers this, and I think I'm going to make like a meme about this, there's a video there's a clip from Love is Blind from our season. And it was after the weddings. And I said, the best decision for me is the best decision for everyone. And I will stand by that. That came out off the top of I do remember saying that when we were filming, but I was actually very triggered in the moment, because I'm pretty sure I dropped the F-bomb in that same clip too. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I want. But I said that, and I was like, damn, that was good. That was a good punch line. And it's true. The best decision for you is the best decision for everyone. And although people may not like it, they may not respect it. And perhaps it's the best decision for you in the moment with the knowledge that you know. And in 6 months from now, you may be or 6 weeks from now, or 6 days from now, you may be like, damn it, I probably shouldn't have said that. Or maybe I shouldn't, maybe that wasn't the best decision. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Think about that too. So if you're teetering on something, making a certain decision, you're either teetering because you're at this terror barrier, which we go over in my coaching program, as well as this is something I've been mentored on. But the terror barrier is where this thought keeps coming up and it keeps hitting this barrier. And until you break that barrier, that thought is going to keep circulating if it's really important. If it's not important, it'll be a fleeting thought and it'll go away and it'll never come back. But if that thought comes back and you don't do anything about it differently, and you're like, no, it's fine. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't want to disrespect anyone. I don't want anyone to not like me, or I don't want to lose anyone, or I don't want to ruffle feathers. I don't want things to change. Then you just push it aside. Well, probably in 6 days, that thought's going to come right back up and it's going to hit that terror barrier, and you're going to feel this resistance and this anxiety and this I got to do something. And so you let that thought through, you go for it, you act on it, you do the thing that's going to maybe not feel so great in the moment, but you're going to walk away and you're going to feel really empowered, or you're going to feel so much more at peace because you got it off your chest, or made the decision and you took the action. And even if you fail, even if you or feel like you failed, or even if people do judge you, or whatever the case may be, there's always tomorrow. We can always get up tomorrow and be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm going to try and correct this. Maybe I'm going to try and actually do something different, because that wasn't actually the best decision. But if you feel in your heart of hearts that that is the best decision for you, that's going to bring you peace, tranquility, love, safety, emotional safety with your little inner child, and happiness and joy, do it. Do it. Another thing, biggest learnings and mind shifts you've come across. That is a loaded question. Again, I think the biggest learning for me, and this is something I've been studying since 2018, communicated to me in different ways, but it was broken down for me in subconscious, conscious book for dummies. That's kind of what I needed. 2021, I started going through this program with a girl named Maddie Dalmasso. And it was the Thinking into Results program that was Bob Proctor's. It is based on the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You can read the book Think and Grow Rich, or you can listen to the audiobook. But the Thinking and Results program is a product of that book, and it helps you retrain and rewire your subconscious, unconscious mind. And it helps you understand how the subconscious and conscious mind work. And it helps you to understand how your subconscious mind is literally controlling 95% of your results. Like, literally look out into your reality. If you don't like something about your results, it is a subconscious, most likely it is something subconscious, unconscious that you do every single day that is creating that result. Sure, you could make a conscious decision about something and then be like, oh, well, I did this and it made this happen. Sure, that happens too. But 95% of our thoughts are creating something that we don't even know until we bring awareness to it. So again, it's assessing your health, your nutritional and physical health, your relationships. And I don't just mean romantic. I mean romantic, family, social, professional, all of these relationships. Look at them, assess them. Hey, is this toxic? Is this a really good relationship? Is this not serving me? How is this serving me? Is this a good, like, what is the benefit of having this relationship in my life still? Can I create some distance? Can I create some boundaries that is going to make this more peaceful, more easy, more effortless, more loving and enjoyable? Home life, right? Like, is your closet a mess? Do you have one of those junk drawers that you really like? Every time you open it, you're like, oh my God, I just got to close it right back up. But wouldn't it be so helpful if you actually just cleaned it? Create new behaviors. Stop stuffing the junk in there, because what you're putting in the junk drawer is probably the junk that you're putting in your brain, that you're putting in your mind, or the junk that you're putting in your mouth, meaning you're feeding yourself like from emotional eating or binge eating. We do the same behaviors in other areas of our life. That's the cool thing, okay? Assess. It's just bringing awareness to this. Bring awareness to every area of your life. You don't like your job, you don't like something about your job, shift your mindset around it so that you start liking it better, or start applying for new jobs. There's someone else out there that is going to treat you better, who's going to pay you better, and the environment's going to be better, and it's going to be more aligned to what you're looking for. Like I said, you want financial freedom, you want location freedom, you want time freedom, you got to create it yourself. You got to go out and do the actions and get it. Look at your current reality. What is it? What's happening? What can we start to let go of? What do we need to create healthy boundaries around? What can we start creating new behaviors around? Start to create new beliefs and stories in the subconscious mind. Oh, I want this. I desire this. Okay, this is a new goal. I've never done this. I've never had this before. What actions do I need to take to get it? Well, these actions. Or I don't know what the actions are, but this feels really fun to try to achieve though. Okay, so this just was a catalyst for a new emotion in your brain. Your mind just went, ooh, that sounds exciting. That sounds like really good. Okay. So that thought created a feeling. The feeling is going to create an action. Okay. Well, what action? What can I do? What can I do to get started with this? And then you start taking the action and you start seeing different results. And you're like, holy bananas, why have I not been doing this the whole time? That is the power of the subconscious mind. We literally can change it. And there's deep-rooted stuff in there, mostly around worthiness, and around relationships, more or less. I don't deserve a relationship. What's wrong with me? There must be something wrong with me. If that person doesn't want me, must be something wrong with me. Must be something wrong with me. So we always find what's wrong with us, and then we sabotage a relationship. You got to start retraining and rewiring the brain. So that would probably be the biggest learning, is learning about the subconscious and conscious mind and actually how it works, and having that emotional intelligence. Like, it really does increase your emotional intelligence and so much self-awareness and social awareness. So there's literally, I'll be at parties or I'll be around people and I'm like, they'll tell me something and I'm like thinking in my head, I either am having an activation, which means that activation, or a trigger, which means something that person is saying or doing is actually affecting me, and I feel some fear, or I feel some resistance, or I feel like, oh, I don't like this. Or they're saying something that is really resonating, and I'm like getting all jazzed up inside. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is alignment. I feel the energy. I feel the connection. This feels good. keep leaning towards it. So if someone activates you and triggers you, that's just giving you the awareness to do a little work around that later on that day and be like, why did I feel that way? What is that tied to? What fear is that coming from? What story is that coming from? What is this similar, familiar thing that happened in the past? Why am I feeling this way? That's a really interesting thing, social awareness. Or you can recognize like other people, like when they're negative self-talk or saying things where you're like, that's a limiting belief. That's not true. That's not true. When people say certain things, that's their fixed, stuck mindset. So anyways, that is the biggest thing. The mind shifts I've come across though. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know exactly like what huge revelational mind shifts. I'd have to literally like journal that out, but, it's just recognizing that like, oh my God, like, well, I guess that one where I was like, oh, my defense mechanism is, me being in the get so caught up in the go, do. I didn't realize that until the other day. Or granted, maybe I have realized that before, but I like realized it again. And I was like, okay, now like, we're not ready to hear a message until we're ready to hear the message. We're not ready to learn the lesson until we're ready to learn the lesson. That's why we stay in these constant cycles and these toxic loops sometimes, because we're not ready to receive the message. We're not ready to fully let go. We're not ready to fully embrace the change and the growth that can happen, because we're afraid of, if we change completely, we're going to lose something. But isn't losing something what we need to do in order to gain the thing that we really want? Yeah. And that's a constant battle. I would say in my romantic relationship life, that's been my struggle. It's like I pine over people sometimes. I stay stuck, and that's a choice. But I'm doing my inner healing. Like that's something with therapy. I'm like, I don't want to feel this way. Like I want to attract this just beautiful, easy, effortless love. I don't want to feel anxious. I don't want to feel avoidant. I just want to love. And I want someone to love me, and I want someone to choose me. Like I told a friend the other day, I was like, it just feels like the last, like however long, it just feels like I've been choosing people I'm attracted to, I want to be with, I want to try and date, but they're not choosing me back. And that's a story. Okay. Because that's not true. And I told her that. I just said, that's not true, but that's how it appears. That is something like it's how it feels. It's like I'm choosing, but they're not choosing me back. And I feel like that's been a repetitive thing. So I want to understand, and that creates some anxiousness inside of me. So I want to try to me doing this playfulness this month, as well as really honing in on just other self-care modalities and prioritizing myself, and speaking speaking my truth more, that I will get to where I want to go faster, and I will start to heal that wound, and I will start to attract the people that I'm attracted to, as well as them attracted to me, and they choose me too. But love is not conditional, right? So love can come in at any time. Am I going to be ready? Am I open to receive? Yes, I am. Well, also, I'm sure there's some fears of sabotage. I mean, there probably is. Okay. And then this is the last question I'll answer, just because everyone always wants to know this. Do I ever regret saying no to Kenny? You both seemed so happy together. I get that. Guys, that show aired 3 years ago. I still get this all the time. And it's so funny. Not everything that we see on TV is exactly the truth of everything. I'll say that. But to play the narrative of what happened on TV that everybody saw, no, I don't regret it, because I had not even done any of this healing work. So I think that I don't think Kenny and I would have worked out anyways. I don't think that we would have, although we did seem good together. I mean, we were. I felt like we had a good relationship as well. It felt very comfortable for me. It felt very like I had known him for a long time. I loved his family. He was a great person. He was a great guy. But the way some things were handled at the end, I didn't love. But regardless, how our relationship started and throughout the whole process and the experiment, yeah, I mean, it did appear very good. but I don't regret my decision because there was so much that I have learned over these last 5 years. Literally. So we filmed in 2018 and now it's 2023. So almost 5 years that since we filmed, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. It was literally the catalyst to my greatest healing and spiritual awakening. My whole self-love journey, like it started before we filmed, but like me actually investing and working with mindset coaches and relationship coaches and like money mindset coaches and life coaches and business coaches, that all happened afterwards. Well, I had one business coach right before, but everything happens. My whole like deep self-love, like inner child healing, recognizing my limiting beliefs, my deeply rooted patterns, my all this subconscious work, manifestation, law of attraction, all of that stuff happened after we started filming. And there's been so much that I've had to learn and grow from. I mean, I got stuck in a situation these last 3 years that I couldn't get out of. I mean, I did. I mean, I could have, but I didn't. In between, I was like hanging out with someone that was not choosing me back. And it was frustrating. But when they did choose me in the moment, for the day, for the night, it was great. I loved it. It was great. I felt so comfortable. It was so good. We had great connection and all that. And then I didn't hear from the person for weeks on end, sometimes. And then we had to we did like 2 like no talking breaks. And then when we came back together, it was like us coming back together again. And it like, our arms around each other and everything. And it's like, okay, in the back of my head, I just had so much hope that it would turn around and things were different, and they were never fucking different. That's why I had to actually cut it off in March. And that's been that. It's done. But in the times that we weren't talking, I knew who I was and I knew what I wanted. And I was attracting that still. And God was like putting these people in my life and saying like, here they are. Here's the type of person that you're looking for. Although you keep going back to that one, here's the type of person you're looking for. And I had beautiful experiences when I would go on other dates. And I had beautiful experiences with, 1 or 2 particular people. And I loved that. I loved seeing more of what I wanted because I was learning more about myself because I was continually to doing this inner work. I was always doing it, but I had to go through that situationship for 3 years off and on to really learn a lesson. And although it's been challenging and it has been painful and disappointing and frustrating and all kinds of things, ending that in March was the best decision for me. And it literally, I have felt so much more at peace with life. I have felt so much more relief. Yeah, sure. Do I think about the person? Sure. The person was a big part of my life for a very long time, but it's allowed me to open my heart to other people. And that is what I love. And, it continues to allow me to heal the parts of me that were wounded from that relationship and or past relationships. And my anxious attachment style, I'm still doing the work around that. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So, and here we are. Love is on its way to me. And that's the vibration that I want to hold. Like, I'm so great. Like, well, literally last night I was home by myself and I really wanted to I wanted someone to come hang out with me. But it was like 10 o'clock at night already. I wanted to get up and go do things today and go to yoga. And because I'm starting my yoga practice again. And it's, oh God, these last 2 yoga sessions were just so great and powerful. But I had to sit with it and I just turned everything to gratitude. Although I was lonely, I felt lonely. I turned everything to gratitude. And I just was like, I really am so grateful that I'm in this moment right now. Like, this is going to change. Like, one day, this is not going to be my reality because I'm taking these steps in order to attract the things that I want. Right. But I just looked around my condo and I was like, one day there is going to be someone sitting on this couch next to me, hopefully rubbing my feet. And there's maybe going to be 2 kids running around, mommy, daddy. And I'm going to be like, oh my God, can I just go back to that night on the couch when I felt really lonely and very single and just have that peace and quiet? And the thing is, when I am a mom, I will prioritize that because I'm very big about that. You do not have to lose yourself as a mom, and you do not have to think it's selfish to prioritize yourself as a mom. If you're not prioritizing yourself as a mom, you're actually not setting a good example for your children. And they are going to create the same patterns as you are because you're not modeling the behavior that you really want to be modeling. So it comes back to gratitude and just being really present. And I hope that you all can take that away today. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to leave you guys with. I am still enrolling new clients into the health and life coaching program. We do a lot of this mindset work in the coaching program that I have been offering. You can find it in the notes section in this episode, or you can find it on my TikTok link, in my TikTok profile, as well as my Instagram profile. You can always message me and just be like, hey, I want to join this health coaching, your life coaching. We have custom meals and workouts, one-on-one messenger support, progress tracking and accountability. And then if you want to do the VIP, you get all of that plus weekly coaching calls. So it's Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern time are those Monday coaching calls. And that's when we do all this mindset work. Because then I can be on a call with more of you at one time, and I can share all this information just like I did today. But we go a lot deeper. So if you want to join that and be a part of that, please reach out to me. Or like I said, look at the notes section or the links in my bio to join the waitlist and apply for the coaching. And yeah, I would be honored to hold space for you in your transformation and your expansion and your self-love journey. So thank you so much for being amazing listeners. If you love this episode, please share it. Rate it and review it, but definitely share it with a friend, a coworker, colleague, stranger on the street. I don't care. Let's grow this damn thing. And 100 episodes. Can you believe it? I am so excited. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. Have a wonderful day. Bye. If you loved this episode, please download, share, rate, and review. If you are ready to step into that next level version of you and grow your business and bank account, it's time to unleash your goddess magic and chase life with Kelly. You can start this epic expansion journey by diving into the Goddess Magic course bundle found at chaselifetogether.com. Please connect with me on Instagram at chaselifewithkelly. Join the Chase Life with Kelly Facebook community and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Till next time, create the life you crave, babe, and chase life with Kelly.